Ali, when they do.
Well, we're back with part 2 of the NFL mock draft here at 4th and 10 U. How's everybody doing? We got Mike on the mic. We got Bullet Bob in the house. He is our special co-host of tonight evening. How's everybody doing? Make sure you hit the like button, turn on notification bell. Bob, welcome back.
Thank you.
Definitely. Mike, how's it going? How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully it's well. If you didn't know, we just had our first episode of the NFL round 1 mock draft here at 4th and 10 U. It was a banger, a lot of surprises, some crazy takes as well. But it was a lot of fun. And we want to continue that with round 2 for today is what we're going to be doing. But before we start that, make sure you hit the like button, turn on notification bells. If you're new, subscribe, follow us on 4th and 10 U on Twitter. We really appreciate it. Put your comments down below. Tell us how good we did, how bad we did, what you suggest, what you want to hear more about. I'm not the expert. The other guy is, just so you know. Yeah, please let us know. And Mike, any thoughts before we get started?
Man, I'm excited for round 2, man. There's a heck of a lot of talent still on the board.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. It's going to be very, very interesting. But before we get into that, there's some late breaking news I want to get into. But as we start every episode, does the cleat fit, right? We got to talk about it. And again, we said it last week's episode with round 1 that this is Autism Awareness Month, right? And we want everybody to be aware of autism. And, we understand how it can affect everybody, right? We understand that every person with that may have autism or may have a family member or a friend that's autistic. It's different for everybody, right? And we want to make sure everybody is aware of some of the programs that are available. More recently, we shouted out Autism Speaks. Again, their vision where all people with autism can reach their full potential. Autism Speaks is enhancing lives today and accelerating a spectrum of solutions for tomorrow. Their mission is Autism Speaks is dedicated to creating an exclusive world for all individuals with autism throughout their lifespan. They do this through advocacy, services, support, research, innovation, and advance in care in autistic individuals and their families. Everything from ensuring access, supporting research and innovation, leverage their assets through advocacy and partnership and collaboration, accelerating delivery of solutions, and live and promote principles of diversity, equality, and inclusion. And so if you want to know more about Autism Speaks, go to autismspeaks.org. You can learn how to donate, how to volunteer, find out about events, what information, what they can do for you if you're in need of help, or if you want to know more about autism, right? You can go there. There's a lot of information. Definitely check them out. Again, this is Autism Awareness Month. And with more on that, Mike, you got it.
Yeah, and Bullet Bob's actually one who turned me on to this other organization. A lot of people know about Autism Speaks, but one of the coolest organizations for me is called autismontheseas.com. And it's really cool. I'm just going to read you their about. It's pretty neat. They specialize in this. They've been doing it since 2007. Autism on the Seas is an international organization that's been in collaboration with Royal Caribbean since 2007. They have developed cruise vacation services to accommodate adults and families living with children with special needs, including but not limited to autism, Asperger syndrome, Down syndrome, Tourette syndrome, cerebral palsy, and all cognitive, intellectual, and developmental disabilities. These services quickly expanded to other cruise lines, and our staff assisted cruises continue to meet and exceed our guests' expectations, but do not take our word for it. Take theirs, and it has a bunch of testimonials on it. But what it does is it allows the parents of families with children with autism and the various different conditions that I listed to enjoy a cruise, and they sponsor it. You know, the other siblings and parents are all sponsored on it, and it's just really neat. But autism in general, as you heard last week, it's very near and dear to my heart. Man, my dad, Bullet Bob, he knows all too well about my family situation and my twins. And but this month is just it's a great month to just spread awareness to it. So it's a wonderful cause. Autism Speaks. I just encourage you to research more into what autism is. Because a lot of people think it's a disease. A lot of people think that you're either really autistic or you're not autistic. But as I explained last week, autism spectrum think of it as a pie chart, and you just have needs in different areas rather than you're either more or less autistic. Because once you're on the spectrum, you're on the spectrum. There's no more or less. It's just your needs are in different areas. So it's a great month. April's always a good month for it. To really just to educate people around the world on what autism is and how it affects us on a daily basis. And for those my age or our age and older, like Bullet Bob, when we were younger, it wasn't really talked about as much. It wasn't really advertised as much. Nowadays, though, there's so many different programs and so many different opportunities for people who do um, land on the autism spectrum. So it's just a really cool cause.
Definitely. Thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
That Autism on the Seas. The only reason I told Mike about it was I was on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and a bunch of people were on there and everything. And they, like he said, they take it and they'll set it up to where the parents and the siblings, they have people that volunteer that get their cruise paid for, and their whole job is to watch the children while the adults, the parents, get a break and get to go enjoy themselves. So it's something pretty cool to do. Mm-hmm. It was pretty neat to see.
Definitely. I appreciate you giving us that insight, Mike and Bob. Thank you. That's really cool that you found that. I will say if somebody that has I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would say real quick, it was really neat. Just the timing of everything. The same week that we got back the results that the twins were going to be on the spectrum, my dad, Bullet Bob, was on that cruise. And so when he came back, man, it was just so cool for me that as soon as we told him what was going on, he had this wealth of information on different topics and different things that were available to us. So it was really cool.
That's super cool. I mean, my personal story, what I talked to you about, Mike, in regards to what's going on with my family, but I have another family member that is autistic, and it affects everybody differently, right? Everybody's situation with autism is different, and I'm really glad that there's these programs like Autism Speaks or Autism with C's, the one you're referring to, and other programs that are out there. So definitely, if you want more knowledge about autism, definitely research those sites, and you can see how you can get involved and help people. Everybody needs help at some point. But let's keep it moving. That's what we do here at 4th and 10U. One moment. And get this off here. There we go. Sorry about that. But state of college football. So, Bob, this question is for you. And we answered this on our first or second show. We talked about the state of college football, what we think of the NIL deals and the transfer portal. It's like having a free agency in college football. What are your thoughts about the state of football, and what do you think of it?
Well, I think it's start off with the games. It's been ruined with this. I mean, I think of something when you talk about the NIL. I think of an interview I watched with Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan with Oprah Winfrey. They are taking these kids now and paying them for potential. They're not earning any of this money. This kid's coming out of high school and says, oh, look, he has the potential to do this, so let's pay him millions of dollars. And he's not earning anything. They're not earning a darn thing. And this transfer portal thing, oh, my God, it needs to go back to what it used to be. You transfer, you sit out for a year. You'll stop all this transferring around. I read somewhere where this guy's fixing to go to his 4th or 5th college team. And I'm going, you're kidding me. I mean, it used to be, Troy Aikman was a fantastic quarterback at the University of Oklahoma until he got his ankle broken in a game against the Miami Hurricanes. Came back, lost his starting job. Sat out 1 year, went to UCLA, and look what he turned into, but he had to sit out a full year. I mean, they're making it, they've watered down the game. I mean, only the schools with money now are going to get players. I mean, they chased away one of the greatest coaches there was, Nick Saban. Said bye-bye because of all this paying players to play. I mean,
look, I think I agree players should be paid. I mean, especially when you have colleges making millions or even billions off of players, if you really want to talk about it. Yeah. But I do think there should be limits. I think limits is a big thing. I don't think you should be able to switch and transfer schools year in and year out, at any point, like, oh, I went to this school for 1 year. There's somebody I was looking, he signed with a team, right? He committed to a team, and then he didn't like something after he got started and immediately jumped back in the portal. You know what I mean? That's the issue I have with it, right? That team took a chance on you and everything, had you add to their roster. After you jump ship, they don't really have a way to fix losing you. You know what I mean?
No, they don't.
It's kind of hard.
Also, I talked to my son about this. These guys we're giving you a scholarship. Now we're going to pay you $2 million. That's as soon as he gets that money, that college scholarship should go away and give it to somebody that actually needs it. Okay,
that's another way to look at it too. Correct.
There's a lot of players on those teams that aren't getting this NIL money.
Yeah,
they could use a scholarship if they don't have it.
I was reading into this. Now, not every player is getting a huge NIL deal, though, right?
No, they're not.
Too. So that's why I'm kind of wondering if they need to put limits on the amount of NIL, because there's some players that are getting more than a rookie contract in the NFL.
Yes,
you know
they
what I
are.
mean? So, it is what it is. We'll see, what they do. What are your thoughts real quick on the college football playoff? Has that gotten better for you?
I think it has with adding more teams.
Mm-hmm.
They need to step back and look at Division II and Division III, how they do it, because they have a lot of teams in their playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They play the same amount of games as the Division I does. But I know Division I, it's all about that almighty dollar. You know, they got all these bowls that they're committed to and everything.
Yeah.
These leagues are committed to this bowl and everything. I like that they've gotten it up to 12 teams. It's good to have it because, you know, I mean, I don't think you can get much more than that. You get too many. It's because they spread it out so much. I mean, if they did it like everything else does, boom, 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 just one week after another, they could probably add a few more teams. You know?
Yeah, I think it's definitely better. My concern with the playoff is the selection. I still think you need to get rid of this committee and go by rankings, and then then have have qualifier games. Like have like a certain qualifier. You have to meet this to get into the round. Yes. You know what I mean?
But you get rid of the selection committee, or even if you go by the rankings are still opinions.
That's
okay.
True. That's
okay.
True.
If you really want to do it like they did for a while there, strength of schedule. Throw that stuff in there. Throw that stuff in there with the strength of schedule. How many top teams have you played? And then if you throw that in there as a prerequisite to get into it, you're going to see teams not play these small schools that they can just run over. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
And I understand why they play the small schools. The small schools do it because they get a lot of money. I mean, North Texas was playing the university, UNT, and Denton was playing the University of Texas. They did it for several years in a row. That's because they got like $5 to $6 million for their school for that game, whether they competitive or not. So, unfortunately, money, betting, it's all kind of ruined the games.
Yeah, I agree with you. I completely understand that. Real quick, I'm getting some messages. People are asking me, is my hat the official NFL draft hat for the Miami Dolphins? Yes, it is. This is the 2025, here we go, NFL draft hat. It's pretty nice. You can get it in fitted or snapback. Or the
show them the pin. Show them the pin.
By the way, yeah, that's right. That's right. Let me find the right angle here. This is a pin right here. It's a palm tree. You can see inside. You can see the pin right there. Yeah. I have during the 72 anniversary, I do have a 1972 pin, Dolphins pin that I can put on there. I might just put that right there or somewhere around that region. Sorry, when my camera is mirrored, I gotta like figure out which way is which, to be honest, on camera. But yeah, this is what it looks like. It's not my favorite draft hat. People know here that I collect draft hats. I have almost every year for the past 10 years. This is not my favorite, but I still think it's really cool looking. So I still like it.
Well, you're going to be traveling around the country. You know where you need to be next year?
Canton?
No, the same place I'm going to be. The draft is in Pittsburgh, and I plan to be there.
Oh, I might actually be there then. I might get to see you, Bob. Definitely.
I am going. They're already working on getting it all set up where they're going to have it. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to the NFL draft. I'm going to be there every day.
I actually really like the fact that we're traveling with the draft now. Remember back, it used to be always in New York. Yes. I actually love the fact that they have it every new cities all the time. So I really like that.
Speaking of the Dolphins that stay in the same state, Bob, what do you think? What do you think about the Florida Gators this next year?
That was going to be my next question.
If Lagway stays healthy, I think they'll be a good team. He's the key. When he's healthy, that team is scary on offense, and they've always got a good defense. But they'll be scary on offense if he stays healthy.
I agree with you 100%. They are my dark horse to win the SEC. If Texas isn't winning, I'm telling you, Gators have a chance. They could win.
You know, you were talking about a few years down the road for the quarterback for the what are you talking about? The Bears getting this dome stadium built and getting a few years down the road. Browns. I mean, Lagway or Archie Manning. There'll be two good quarterbacks coming out.
DJ Lagway, Archie Manning. There's the quarterback out of South Carolina that's really good.
Arch I'm correcting both of you. It's Arch.
Arch Manning. I'm sorry.
Archie already played.
His dad. I keep thinking of his, not his dad, but his what's that? Grandfather.
Granddad.
Yeah, it was his grandfather. Yeah.
Yeah. Played for the
Archie
Saints for a bit, right? He played for the Saints.
Yep.
And then Peyton played for the Colts, and Eli played for the Giants.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
I heard Peyton's son looks good. You see the fade routes he was throwing at the Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
Hey, they've got a way to learn. But you were talking about it. I mean, I was impressed that the Gators gave an extension. They're sticking with their coach. These days in college football, if you don't win immediately or within 2 years, they get rid of you. You can't build a program in 2 years anymore, especially with this portal.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of a time. In fact, I'll tell you, I'll be honest. I called Shake Money. He's a co-host here at TFTG. I called Shake and I said to him, the Florida Gators need to fire this coach. And this was like really early in the season. Like I want to say it was like week 2 or week 3 of college football. And he goes, yeah, probably. They look like they're in shambles. And then he turned it around and surprised the heck out of me. And they had a hell of a run in the second half of the season. And I really think they have a lot of talent. It's just been unfortunate with the injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that if they can just put it together, they're going to have a great season this season. I really think they're going to compete.
The SEC's tough. Let's just put it that way. Everybody talks about, hey, the SEC, they're overrated. I'm going, please. They're just, and they're huge now, adding Oklahoma and Texas. But I mean, we were just talking about we were talking about the NCAA tournament. They put 14 teams in there. 7 of them made it to the Sweet 16. I mean, so it's a tough conference.
Absolutely.
In everything, baseball too.
Yeah,
swimming. It's all of it.
I mean, before Alabama made their run, it was LSU and Florida all the time.
Yep. Speaking of Florida possibly firing a coach and holding on to him, looks like we got some breaking news there, Ali.
Yeah, but that's actually not who I was going to talk about. To be honest, go ahead and break that news real quick for Coaching Carousel, which is every week there's new coaches.
I was relying on you, buddy.
Okay, I thought you had somebody I didn't know about. Sorry about that. So I got somebody out of nowhere. Stanford, because of some bullying and harassment, I believe, let go of their head coach, right? And Andrew Luck, who's the general manager or of whatever of the college football team over there, he brought in his old buddy. Sources: Stanford are hiring veteran NFL coach Frank Reich as their.
He's still alive?
Yeah, he's still around as the school's interim football coach for 2025 season. Both sides have agreed this will only be a 1-season agreement, so it's an interim coach position.
Because I thought he coached the Buffalo Bills like in the 80s.
Yeah, well, I know he was the Colts coach for a hot minute. Did he have some? Did he have like some really bad heart failure issue or something as the Colts coach? Was that coach?
I mean, coaching Jacksonville and having to deal with that would give me some heart issues too.
Didn't he just have a picture of him with a Carolina Panthers hat on too? So
yeah,
that's right. Carolina Panthers, not Jacksonville. It was definitely Carolina. Having to deal with Bryce Young, it's probably pretty tough.
Yeah. So anyway, I personally just wanted to bring that up. I made the joke last episode that the coaching carousel is the news that just keeps on giving, right? Yeah. And this year it's been week after week, someone else is getting hired, new people. The joke's on me. Ohio State hired another coach. I can bring that up at a later time because I haven't researched it yet. But yeah, they're bringing in people left and right. I told Mike earlier, Texas has like a team of head coaches because that's really what they're all like talented enough to be head coaches. All of them. It's ridiculous.
But you were talking about that. I'm eager to see what the NCAA is going to do to Michigan.
Yeah. Oh, don't open that Pandora's box. Ali's been
right now.
Bob,
I will honestly have you on a show where we're going to break it down. I'm going to have a PowerPoint presentation. You ask Mike. That's my shtick. I like making PowerPoint presentation, right? I'll have a PowerPoint presentation to break that whole scenario down. and we will have you there as well as some other guests. And I'll let you guys be the objective ones to tell me what do you think the NCAA is going to do or should do. I will not, because obviously everyone thinks that I'm biased because I'm a Buckeye fan, right? But I really think they're in a world of hurt. I think now with the new news of what this coach did, I don't know if you guys know anything about it, but it is some wicked stuff, some disgusting wicked stuff.
Yeah.
But we will find out.
But you know what Michael was bringing up, and I told him, I said, it might happen, but I've never seen a team. I mean, I didn't think the NCAA would do it, but you know, they gave SMU back in the 80s the death penalty. And,
I remember that. Yeah.
And they've just now started to recover.
In fact, if there's a time to do it with all of the shenanigans and stuff that I've heard that is actually true in Michigan, this would be the time the NCAA needs to do something like that. And they have to.
And you know, it's funny. SMU got the death penalty for paying players. That's what's so
USC.
funny.
Remember they took USC's wins away, and they took
away.
Took
the Heisman Trophy away from what's his name, Reggie Bush.
Yeah, he finally got it back though. He finally did get it back. So shout out to him. Some news: commit or not to commit is the question. Some big time news going on. Breaking news: 4-star running back Javon Osborne is down to Michigan and Notre Dame. He tells On3 Recruits. All right, the 5'9", 195 running back from Forney, Texas. I figured maybe you know something about this kid, possibly. Mike, maybe not. I honestly think a guy of his caliber, I want to go to Notre Dame. I don't want to go with Michigan, especially with this, you know, the rumors going on. We don't know what the penalty is. Imagine you sign with Michigan, right? And then they have all this bowl ban. It messes with your whole story of you as the player. You want to go to a program that you know is going to prepare you for the next level.
But, you know, going to Notre Dame, though, I mean, Notre Dame football not being aligned with a conference is hurting that school bad. Okay?
Yeah.
It is hurting them bad. And, you know,
Can you say it's hurting them? They just made it to the national championship.
I know, but I mean, but they once in a blue moon now, but it just seems that they're football. Okay. I mean, was it they won their last national title? Wasn't it what's his name? Lou Holtz?
Yeah, Lou Holtz.
Yep. Okay.
He opened his mouth. Everyone he opened his mouth against Ryan Day. And I don't know why there's even beef. I don't know why Ryan Day just ignores it. I guess I don't know, but
him going, you know, he's a 5-star recruit. I'm going, and Michigan and Notre Dame are his two schools. I'm going right down the road. You got a team that was in the playoffs and everything. Well, Texas. I mean, is he not that good that he can't break a starting lineup in Texas?
That's true. But Texas has a lot of talent. They're one of those big schools like Ohio State, Texas, and I want to say Oregon. They are a money machine. They have so much money they can buy any players. It's hard for, you know, a lot of players to be able to go to schools like that and get the time they needed. But I do think Notre Dame ultimately will eventually align itself with a conference. Yeah. I personally think that it's going to be the Big Ten. I just have a feeling because the Big Ten already considers Notre Dame like a stepbrother kind of thing. Yeah. That's what we consider them. A lot of their players are recruited by Big Ten schools, have connections and friends that play for Big Ten schools. They're just so close to home. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it ain't going to happen until Notre Dame's personal TV contract runs out.
It's true. That's true. They keep rumoring it every year that it's going to happen, so it's bound to happen at some point. But let's keep it moving. Next,
you know what else is bound? Ollie, you know what else is bound to happen? You know what else is bound to happen?
What?
The round 2 of the 4th and 10 U.
He's like, hurry it up. All right, I'm sorry. We'll go real fast. Rapid fire, Bob. What's your thoughts on this guy? Breaking 4-star corner Javari Flowers, 225, has committed to Florida. He tells On Recruits. What do you think of that?
Well, that's great. He's smart. He's going somewhere where it's warm.
All right.
But yeah, like I said, the Gators have a good defense every year. They have a good defense. What are you laughing about?
That is going somewhere warm.
Yep. Hey.
That's true. That's true. North Alabama linebacker Josh Anglin plans to enter the transfer portal. He had a total of 81 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble, and a pass. Is that pass block? Yeah.
Yep. Pass breakup.
Freshman.
Pass breakup.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Those numbers don't blow me away.
Yeah. I left the best for last. Big news out of Ohio State. And this is a big one. Crushing for Michigan fans. Officially, Chris Henry Jr., 5-star wide receiver, the best in the country, some say, has officially shut down his recruiting, saying no to teams like Oregon, Texas, Michigan, right? Said no to all of them.
You know who his mentor is?
Who's his mentor?
Pac-Man Jones.
Yeah. Well, Pac-Man Jones said, "It's Ohio State for you, sir." That's what he said.
Well, because Pac-Man Jones is real close with his dad.
Brian Hartline, Miami Dolphin legacy, right?
Oh, yes, Brian Hartline.
Dog at Ohio State now when it comes to running the offense as the offensive coordinator. He has been working wonders. And if you didn't know, Brian Hartline has not quietly but loudly now become one of the top recruiters in this country today. There's nobody better than him. That's why Ohio State continuously brings in top wide receivers year in and year out.
No, it's just they're just giving them
heartbroken.
Just giving them more money.
Yeah,
it's
I know, right?
More money.
How heartbroken are you going to be when he's a head coach somewhere else next year, Ali?
No, I'm going to be proud for him. I support my Ohio State alumni, including Dolphin alumni.
Oh, he almost said he supports his Ohio State money.
Hey, don't hate the first of them. I can't help it that we invest better. What can I say? No, just kidding. Just kidding. This was a shocker. This was a shocker because I honestly thought LSU had this in the bag. Breaking. Elite safety Blaine Bradford committed to Ohio State. This guy is considered a 5-star recruit by some. They say he's arguably the top safety in his class. People are already comparing him to another elite safety that's already in-house at Ohio State, Caleb Downs. I honestly thought LSU had this in the bag. I am surprised he actually committed to Ohio State. That is very big time for Ohio State. So, yes. And then last but not least,
you're leaving out.
Go ahead. I'm leaving out who? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, this is not really college related, but it has to do with the mock draft, so that's why I'm wanting to bring it up. Go ahead. What am I leaving out?
But Texas. Well, you put me on the spot. Now I got to find it. But Texas just got a big recruit, a 4-star offensive lineman.
Yes, I did see that. I just couldn't find an image for it. I was going to copy it.
All right, well, that's fine. Texas is getting people too, guys. It's not just Ohio State. Texas is doing its thing.
I want to say Texas is actually leading the recruiting stage at number 1, I think. And Ohio State's only at number 4, just so you know that. But they're still up at
number 4.
Number 4. That's right.
Yeah, but we saw 2 Ohio State guys in 1.
Yes.
None Texas guys.
So this is a breaking news that came out the other day. Potential top 5 pick Abdul Carter's medical scare a few teams. He's dealing with a foot and shoulder injury as an undersized defensive end. He could slip further than people think, but is still locked into the top 8. This is a possibility. There's a possibility if things go the way that I think they might, he could slide all the way to like maybe number 10 or 11 possibly.
I'll tell you what, though, I didn't know anything about the foot injury, but the shoulder injury, he played a hell of a game with it. I mean, he went out there and played his heart out, only rushing from one play, and they still couldn't stop him. I was watching that game. Even with that bum shoulder, it didn't matter whoever was in front of him, he went around him. But the foot injury, that could be a bigger problem.
Yeah, big time problem.
There's a reason I didn't take him at number 2 in the first round, guys.
I hear you. You're I can see it. I can see it.
Hindsight's 2020.
Real quick before we move on to the draft, because I know Mike is chomping at the bit. Real quick, Bob, if you ever do check out Penn State games at any point, which you live in Pennsylvania now, so you should. There's a kid who is the son of a famous man, LeVar Arrington. LeVar Arrington.
Oh, yeah.
That guy looks like a beast. Have you seen how big he looks? Bigger than his dad did, and his dad was a hell of a player too.
Yeah, his dad was huge.
Check him out. But it's that time. The pick is in. Who's going first? Is it you or me, Mike?
You.
I am. Me. Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. All
you
right.
got Cleveland at number 1 in the second round. Their remaining needs are wide receiver and running back, since we took Shadur in the second pick.
All right. Who's the best wide receiver?
Who's that?
Oh, man. Why do you have
Ezekiel?
to ask me that?
Isn't there some
Who's
guy?
I'm sorry.
Isn't there another one in Ohio State? Starts with his EZ or something. Or EZ.
Amika Abuka?
Well, the best one available, according to Pro Football Focus, is Trey Harris. But I would argue that Iomanor out of Stanford and Tez Johnson out of Oregon. You got Savion Williams, Xavier Restrepo. You got Jalen Knoll.
Hey, how about that kid?
Jalen Royals, Isaiah Bond.
The kid out of Miami that ran that really crappy 40.
Restrepo. That's Xavier Restrepo. Isaiah Bond out of Texas is still there. He did run a 4.29 at his, or no, I think it was a 4.31 or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah. But that
at the pro day.
That kid out of Florida, he reminds me of
Miami.
A guy out of Miami. He reminds me of a guy the Gators had quite a few years back. They called him 7-Eleven. His nickname was because he's always open. And that's that kid out of Miami. He's always open.
Well, the pick is in. That that the Cleveland faithful love their Buckeyes more than anything. And they're going to treat this man like royalty. Bring that man home. Trevion Henderson becomes a Cleveland Brown.
Who?
All right. I like it. Trevion Henderson, running back out of Ohio State, who I think is the number 1 running back in the draft. So good pick there, sir.
Yeah.
Now we got New York Giants. We got the New York Giants. Their remaining needs are going to be hang on, let me go look. Their remaining needs are going to be quarterback and guard and defensive tackle. So, because you did take a wide receiver at number 3 earlier, so I'm going to see. Let's see. I think I got them taking Zabel out of North Dakota State.
I like it. I like the pick a lot.
Yep, offensive guard. That's a good pick, I think.
First-round talent that you're taking personally at that pick, so I like the pick a lot. I'm already got the pick is in. Tennessee is already like, I need to pick something quick. Well, you need a wide receiver.
They had the pick in.
What do you mean they had the pick in? What was that? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say you said quick, and now you're stumbling.
Oh, I thought you said they had the pick in. Tennessee needs to match up a wide receiver with that quarterback. I'm actually going to go. Let me just see how tall this guy is real quick, and I'll tell you. Yeah, I'm going with the kid from Stanford. Iomanor.
Iomanor.
Yeah, Iomanor. Ayo! That's who I'm going with.
Ayo! All right. So we got in the second round so far, we have Trevion Henderson, running back out of Ohio State, going to Cleveland. We got Gray Zabel, offensive guard out of North Dakota State, going to the Giants. We got Iomanor going to the Tennessee Titans, wide receiver out of Stanford. And at number 4 in the second round, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Andrew Makuba out of Texas. in my opinion, the hardest hitting safety in the draft. When he hits you, you either go backwards or you go sideways, but you do
Oh,
not go forward. So I got them taking Makuba out of
I'm
Texas.
going to disagree with you. I think that what was that kid? That other one kid that played safety at Texas.
He's still there, Michael Taft.
Oh, he's not coming out.
Nope, he's got one more year left.
Oh, he's going to be a beast when he comes out.
I agree, but Makuba going to the Jacksonville Jaguars at pick 36. Next on the clock for Mr. Ali the Persian is the Las Vegas Raiders, and their remaining needs are wide receiver and cornerback.
Wide receiver and corner.
Take my guy, dude.
Who's the best defensive tackle on the board?
Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss.
And who's the best corner on the board?
Is going to be depending on your thoughts, it's going to be Siobhan Ravel out of East Carolina, but I'd argue that Azariah Thomas out of Florida State's better.
Maxwell
I'd
Harrison
say
on the
Denzel
board?
Burke. Who?
Maxwell Harrison. University of Kentucky. He's a corner.
Boy, he's nope. Hang on. I mean, if he's in this draft, he's on the board. But let me see. You said Hairston?
Harrison. Hairston.
You sure he's still not at the University of Kentucky?
I'm looking at PFF. He's on the PFF mock
Oh
draft.
yeah. No, he's there. He's there. He's available.
He's going to be a Raider.
All right. Maxwell Hairston going to the Raiders at number 37. Which leaves my arch nemesis, the New England Patriots, at number 38, who did draft Abdul Carter in the first round. They still need offensive tackle, wide receiver, and defensive tackle, and so I've got them taking. Let's see here. This is difficult. I don't think they're gonna pass on him. I think they're gonna go Walter Nolan, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss, and go back-to-back defensive picks.
Okay, not bad.
Then,
not bad.
Now we got Chicago Bears at 39. Their remaining needs are going to be offensive tackle and running back.
Ooh, offensive tackle or running back, huh?
There's a guy you got to take. He should have been off the board already, but he's still there.
Marion Hampton.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I could see that.
Is that who you taking?
Yeah, I'll take Omarion Hampton.
All right, Omarion Hampton, who might be the second best running back in this draft, going to Chicago at pick 39 of the NFL draft, which takes us to the New Orleans Saints at pick 40. In the first round, we had New Orleans taking Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU. They still need a cornerback and a wide receiver. And I think with how it's gone, I think Jackson Dart is a perfect fit to the New Orleans Saints at 40.
Dang, that's a good pick. Good pick.
Now back to the Chicago Bears. To everybody's surprise, has pick number 41. They just took Omarion Hampton. They just took Omarion Hampton in the second round. They took Shamar Stewart in the first round. They still need
defensive line. We're bringing a defensive line.
Oh, you take who you want there, buddy.
I'm taking TJ Sanders. They invested heavily in the offensive line in the free agency, so they really don't need to go offensive linemen at all. The question
South Carolina, I like it.
Yeah. They didn't have to go offensive line at all. They got the guards. They got the defensive offensive tackles. They built that offensive line already. I'm going to go. They already got a running back out of Amari Hampton, and I'm picking the defensive line because that's the area where I think they have a big need.
All right, now next up, we have the New York Jets. Jets, Jets. At pick number 42, they took TJ Warren in the first round, which I think was a hell of a pick to pair with Mr. Justin Fields. I have them go. They still need wide receiver and offensive tackle. I think another weapon would be fitting for them. As far as somebody for Justin Fields to possibly get the ball to. So I got him taking Isaiah Bond out of Texas.
I like it.
Next up, we got San Francisco 49ers at number 43. The San Francisco 49ers in the first round of the 4th and 10 used mock draft took Kelvin Banks, the offensive tackle out of Texas, which means they still need defensive tackle and edge. Mr. Ali, where are you going?
So they need edge, you said, right?
Yep, defensive tackle and edge.
There should be a guy from Boston College that's still available, I think.
Yeah, Donovan Eziruaku.
Yes. Come on down. You're going to come to the West
I'm not
Coast, from
pronouncing
East
his
Coast
name
to
for a
West
second
Coast.
time.
That's what we're doing.
I'm not
So-
pronouncing his name for a second time. Donovan went to
Yes.
number 43 to the San Francisco 49ers, which brings up the Dallas Cowboys. How did I get both picks for them? At number 44. In the first round, we had them taking Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan, which was a really safe pick. They still need running back and wide receiver. This is gonna be tough. Let's see here. He does like his SEC guys. I'll get him taken. You know what? I think they're gonna take Caleb Johnson out of Iowa at number 44.
Good.
He will be
Yeah, pretty
the
much
fourth
the
running back.
most balanced running back in this draft.
Yeah, I agree. And it left your guy on there still. But yeah, so I got Caleb Johnson going to the Dallas Cowboys at number 44, which brings us to the Indianapolis Colts.
Well,
who
you
still
remember
have-
last round I went linebacker for the Colts because I know Colts like their linebackers, right?
Which means they still need tight end and offensive lineman.
Yeah, I'm going to guard here, and I'm going to keep it. The next door neighbors are coming home. Donovan Jackson is going to be a Colt, and what a hell of a player. He can play guard, he can play tackle if you really need him to. But I definitely see him as the guard. So yeah,
I'm laughing, but I really like that pick. That's a great pick. I don't even know if he falls to 45 to be honest, but that's a great pick. Which brings us to number 46, the Atlanta Falcons. In the first round, we had them taking Jade Barron, cornerback out of Texas, which by their listed needs, they need edge and defensive tackle, which means Nick. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go with Nick Scourton out of A&M, which puts 2 defensive ends in the out of A&M in the first 2 rounds.
mm-hmm.
So, real quick on Nick Scourton, he is 6'2", 257, which some would say he's a little bit undersized as defensive end, but he's probably the most aesthetically pleasing pass rusher in the class. Really wise. He's got an arsenal of moves. He's only 20, which is crazy to think of that he's going to the NFL. But his natural weight is 265. I think that's a great pick. I actually might like him better than their other defensive end. What was his name? Well, got me lying. Shamar Stewart. So, anyways, that's who I got them taken at number 46, which brings us to number 47, the Arizona Cardinals.
What did I take last time?
You took a wide receiver, Emeka Ibuka. So you still need defensive tackle and guard.
And Tyler Booker's off the board, and Radledge is off the board, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not touching that for a hot minute. And I need defensive tackle, you said?
Defensive tackle or guard? Well, you can take whoever you want, but that's what supposedly they need.
Okay, hold on one second. This actually might upset me technically because I honestly think the next pick should be this person. Defensive tackle, or don't they? They kind of need a corner too, don't they?
I mean, yeah, they don't have any notable ones, but they've got decent defensive backs. I was trying to think, but he's a safety. Buda
You know
Baker.
what? I'm gonna go with Trey Almost, corner.
Trey
out of Ole Miss.
almost. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it,
I'm
dude.
leaving
I
a
like
guy
it.
on the board. Like, I honestly think they're gonna target corner because they just picked up Calais Campbell. Right? They have a defensive tackle already, so they're not in a rush for it.
Yeah, but Calais Campbell's not going to play every down, though. They're only
No,
going to
but
do
he's still
packages
going to
for
be
him.
effective. I look what he did for the Dolphins, though. I mean, come on. So I think he's still going to be effective there. I think he's going to give it all, one full year, giving it all there, and then he's going to retire. Is what I think is going to happen. But I think corner is something that you need to grab somebody because there's about to be a massive drop off that there's really none to really look at for the rest of the draft, to be honest. I'm going almost, and I'm leaving who I think they could pick up possibly. But I would rather see if Bob picks him as a Dolphin instead. Go ahead.
All right, Bullet Bob, you're up. So we need safety, defensive lineman, or as you have said multiple times behind the scenes, more offensive linemen. So what position group do you want to know best available?
Well, I've already been looking while y'all been talking. Phillips and Chubb haven't stayed healthy. Okay? They haven't. And this is going to make Ali very happy. Jack Sawyer.
Ooh, I love it.
Wow. I'll tell you. Can I comment on this? Can I give comments? Okay. Jack Sawyer, I definitely agree. He's definitely late first round, day 2 talent. That's what I agree 100%. His comp for me, I think he's better than Joey Bosa, and we were trying to bring Joey Bosa here, right? Yeah. So that tells me they are looking for another edge to have in rotation with both Phillips, Chubb, and Chop Robinson. Dude, so you agree? I kind of agree that could be a move. That might be something we do. But all honesty, though, we have such a hole technically at defensive tackle. I would have liked to see a Norman Lott, for example.
Bring him to the NFL, though. He's at 260 now. He could still get some more weight put on him. But, I watched him in that Ohio State game, and they couldn't stop him.
That's true.
The guy was unstoppable. He was everywhere on that field.
Elusive. He has different maneuvers. He can play inside. I've seen him play inside before.
9 sacks last year.
Yeah.
And I just started looking at it a little bit. I know they need a defensive tackle, but they need somebody that's going to stay healthy opposite Chop. And right now, it's not Phillips and it's not Chubb.
Yeah.
Phillips
and look at the Big Ten. The Big Ten puts out
injuries.
That's true. And the Big Ten puts out great defensive ends every year. You look at guys like TJ Watt, for example, Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa. Every year they put out defensive ends, not just Ohio State, but the Big Ten in general. Yeah. So I think I like the pick. Just interesting. Now that I think about it, that might be their plan. That could be kind of something we see here in this draft, to be honest.
Because, like I said, that they're thinking when they're going after Bosa, they're thinking we can't keep people healthy opposite Chop. Okay, yeah. Chubb is getting much older, and Jalen Phillips, his leg injuries just keep happening.
Yeah,
we haven't got a full season out of him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I like it. What? Which brings us to the Cincinnati Bengals at 49. And in the first round, we had them taking Michael Williams out of Georgia, an edge. I actually think they're going to go Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame, at 49. They still need linebacker and a safety going in the second round, but I got them taking Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame, which takes us to number 50, Seattle Seahawks. Ali, their remaining needs. I believe they took a wide receiver. Yeah, they took Matthew Golden in the first round, according to our draft, which means they still need offensive lineman and defensive tackle.
So they still need a defensive tackle, right?
Yep.
And who was the guy that you just took?
Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame.
I like that. Omar Norman Lott.
I figured he wasn't going to be there much longer.
Yeah, Omar Norman Lott. I honestly, my dream scenario for the Dolphins, just to clarify, is a trade down and we double up on defensive tackle, to be honest. That's my dream scenario. Norman Lott is a guy that I'm targeting in the second round if I'm the Dolphins. That's where I'm at.
Did somebody already pick Derek Harmon?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Which takes us to number 51, the Denver Broncos. I'm about to make Ali a really happy man because I am taking Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State to the Denver Broncos.
In my opinion, arguably one of the most physical running backs in this draft, right? The
Agreed.
strongest legs you probably will see. I know a lot of people, we talk about Genty. I personally don't think, I don't believe in the Genty hype. I'll be honest, right? I think he's going to be a good running back in this league. I just don't think it's going to be what people are expecting, right? I mentioned this before on previous show that if you look at the stats and look at his style and his size and mold and everything, it speaks Melvin Gordon all day long to me when it comes to stat for stat, almost to the T, right? So I just don't believe in it. People are trying to compare him to Derrick Henry, and I just I don't see it. This guy, on the other hand, I know Mike has his thoughts that he's a slightly bigger and more physically physical running back than Pachenko. That there's some truth to that. I just think that the only comp I can give you is Quinshon Judkins. That's his comp. He's a one of a kind. He's going the more you hit him, the better he gets. He's going to hit you harder and become better. I think he's fast. I know some people said, I think it was either against Texas or another team, that when he broke loose, he lost gas or whatever. Look, him and Trevion Henderson were running over teams left and right. At some point you got to lose gas. I'm just going to point that out. But ultimately, I don't think. I think he's one of the he's a lot more shiftier than people think. I like the pick.
I'm glad you finished that.
I think personally. That this is a great home run hit for Denver. They picked up the receiver they needed. They picked up the running back in this draft.
What was the running back again? Who was it?
Quinshon Judkins.
Quinshon Judkins.
He played for Ole Miss and then transferred to Ohio State and had a hell of a season.
Yeah.
All right. Takes us to number 52, the Seattle Seahawks, who just took Omar Norman Lott, which means they really need an offensive lineman.
Okay. Does it say which one, guard or tackle?
Nope. They just need guard, tackle, and center, sir.
Sounds like Kansas City.
Yeah. So just to give you a heads up, we got Ursery out of Minnesota, Connerly out of Oregon, we got Imbo out of Purdue, Emory Jones out of LSU, Trapillo, Cameron Williams out of Texas, Cornelius out of Oregon. As far as offensive tackles, guards, we still got Savinia out of Arizona. We got Millam out of West Virginia.
You don't got to tell me anymore. I already know where they're going. They're going to go in their backyard, right? The backyard woods, pick up their boy Josh Connerly Jr. and bring him up to Seattle. That's who's going to be your pick. We don't have to go any further. But that's what's going to happen. I like
it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it takes us to Tampa Bay, and they took in the first round Pretty sure. Yeah, they took Jalen Walker, the linebacker out of Georgia, which they still need a cornerback and an edge at number 53 of the second round. Let me see here. I think this is good. No. I'm gonna go JT Tuimoloau, whatever. You
Ohio
know what I'm
State.
talking about. Ohio State edge to number 53 should make you happy, Ali.
You know what? I want to say he's one of those guys that you play inside. You can put him in coverage in a weird package, and he can still make something happen. Believe it or not, I've seen some interesting interceptions by this guy. And then in addition to it, he definitely is the type of guy that he's going to go after the quarterback. He's going to stop the run. He will do does everything well, exceptional. Yeah, it's a safe bet, like a safe pick to me. So I definitely like it.
Takes
Who's
us
next?
to number 54, the Green Bay Packers, who still need a wide receiver and a cornerback.
Okay, so the Green Bay Packers, I'm going to address the corner position. And I hate to say this, but this is the best darn corner that's still available. I wish he was still available after this pick because I want my team to take him, to be honest. But, he's not too far away from Wisconsin. Come down to Iowa State and bring home Darian Porter, the next shutdown guy. This guy, honestly, I think is going to be a big-time shutdown corner in this league. He
I like it.
Awesome at the combine. He has all the body. He's the right body type, skills. He's a former receiver, so he can track the ball very well. I can't stop talking about him. He is tall, 6'4". I want to say he's like 6'4".
Yeah, 6'4", 200. That's a tall, skinny guy.
He is a big kind of guy. Yeah, you're right. I like the guy. I can't stop talking to him. Let's keep it moving though.
We got the Los Angeles Chargers at pick 55. They took Colson Loveland in the first round. They still need wide receiver and defensive tackle. I think that's a little too early to take him. I'm gonna go. They already got a big guy. They got a young guy. They need a shifty guy. I'm actually gonna. Some people.
You looking at wide receiver?
Yeah, they need wide receiver, but they got a possession guy. They got a deep threat. I think they need a shifty guy. I'm gonna take Savion Williams out of TCU to number 55 for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a run after catch guy.
I'm sorry. Listen, I like Savion Williams. I like him a lot, right? He's fast, big hands, you know what I mean? He knows how to use his body and leverage his body very well. I just think that they have too many of that type of receivers. They just brought back Mike Williams.
But they don't have a yak guy. And Savion Williams is arguably the best yak guy in this draft. And he does most of his damage after the catch. And so that they've got their possession guy, they've got their deep threat. Mike Williams is another deep threat. It's not a possession guy. This is a guy that you can throw a quick slant to or a swing pass to or a bubble screen and just, set up the blocking and watch him run. Anyways, but that's why I took him there. Which takes us to the Buffalo Bills at 56. And in the first round, you took, which I thought was a surprise, Mike Green out of Marshall, which they still need a cornerback, a defensive tackle, and a wide receiver, sir.
They need a wide receiver still and a defensive tackle and a corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, corner, I think, is a huge need for them. Shavon Ravel, is he still on the board?
He is out of East Carolina.
Yeah, well, East Carolina, it's not too far from Buffalo. He's going to drive up to Buffalo. So
all right, we got Shavon Ravel going 56 to Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
takes us to Carolina, who is supposedly trying to hype up this whole Bryce Young offseason workout. And in the first round, we had them taking Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan, which leaves them with needs at wide receiver and edge. Ooh, that's tough. Man, they have nobody at wide receiver. I'm gonna take Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. He is 6'2", 205. He's a physically imposing wide receiver. Great body control. He's got great hands. He started at Louisiana Tech, went to Ole Miss. He had 60 for 1,030, 7 touchdowns. He high points the football. Yeah, I'm taking Trey Harris to the Carolina Panthers at pick number 57, which takes us to the Houston Texans, who still need a guard and a wide receiver, sir.
Let's see. They still need a guard, huh?
Mm-hmm.
One second. Who are the available guards right now?
You got Jonah Savagnia out of Arizona, Wyatt Millham, Dylan Fairchild, Jackson Slater, Garrett Dellinger, Luke Kandra, Miles Frazier, Clay Webb, Marcus Tate.
You can stop. I'm gonna go with a wide receiver. And who are the top 2 receivers on the board right now?
Jalen Knoll and Jalen Royals.
Jalen Knoll.
You also have Tez Johnson, Xavier Restrepo. Trying to think some more names I might know.
Is Jack Beck there, or was he drafted already?
Who?
Jack Beck.
Yeah, he's still there out of TCU.
Yeah, Jack Beck is going to stay in Texas. They're going to bring him home, Texas Christian University. So,
snap! Who supposedly just got bought by A&M, but that's a different story for a way different podcast. So we got Savion Williams and Jack Beck going 55 and 58. That's pretty impressive. Takes us to the Baltimore Ravens at number 59. I'm going to throw a wrinkle in the draft because, oh boy, there's going to be a lot of people that hate me for this one. I'm going to hate myself for this one. But it says they need a defensive tackle, a safety, and an edge in the first round. We had them taking Nick Emenwari, which we think is unfair. No, I don't know if I'm going to do this. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to have them taking Jalen Milroe to learn under Lamar Jackson and see if he can actually become an NFL quarterback.
So not only did they get arguably one of the better safeties, which I think is unfair, now they just went and got Jalen Milroe, and who's Lamar Jackson, like on steroids to a certain degree, except he needs to learn how to throw.
Yeah.
But no. Don't get me wrong. Jalen Milroe has a hell of a deep ball. He throws the best deep ball you've ever seen in your life, right? Perfect spiral, no matter what.
Agreed.
But he can't throw intermediate throws. But I will argue it's because of his stance out of the pocket. You look how he snaps the ball and how he's standing there. That's part of the problem. He doesn't know how to plant his foot properly because he's coming out with the wrong stance. If you get the right QB coach that knows what they're doing to help him, he will be one of a hell of a QB in this league. And the fact that he can run and how big he is, I bet you he can even block when you need him to. Holy crap, you got a player. That's
he's
all.
He's modern day version of Doug Williams.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
All right, taking us to pick number 60, the Detroit Lions, who you've got to pick twice for, by the way. The Detroit Lions in the first round, they took Darius Alexander, defense tackle out of Toledo, which leaves them with edge, guard, and linebacker as needs.
Well, I know one thing about Dan Campbell. He likes him some linebackers. And there's this linebacker out of UCLA that I like a lot. Schweissinger. I think that's how you say it. Bring him home to Detroit, right? This kid, he's in my opinion, one of the harder hitting linebackers. He has elite speed when processing the field. His intelligence, he's smart. His pursuit speed is pretty good. Overall, I think he's definitely a guy that I could see going to Detroit. I think it's a good pick.
I like it, dude. I like it. Takes us to the Washington Redskins, who still need a cornerback and a running back. I severely doubt they need a running back. So I'm going to go cornerback here, and I'm going to take Kobe Bryant out of Kansas.
Did he
For those of you that
reincarnate?
don't know Kobe Bryant, he's 6 foot, 180, very instinctive. But in my opinion, he's probably one of the better ball hawks in the draft. Very physical. He doesn't mind tackling. I really like him out of Kansas, going to the Washington at 61, which takes us to 62. The Buffalo Bills, once again, for your man, Ali.
What is their needs? I went edge
Well, they
last
just took Siobhan Ravel and they just took Mike Green. So they really need a wide receiver to pair with Florida State guy. Can't remember his name.
Didn't they pick up some wide receivers in the free agency?
I think they picked up one. Let's see.
You got Tez Johnson, Xavier Restrepo, Jalen Noel, Jalen Royals, Jaden Higgins, Kyle Williams.
I'm going to go with this guy. He's
Jimmy Horn Jr.
I kind of think he reminds me of a guy that Josh Allen played with. And I can't think of his name. He used to play for Dallas, but the short guy. What I'm saying? Yeah, he reminds me of him. I'm going to go Xavier Restrepo. I honestly think
I thought you were going to go Tez Johnson.
Guy. He's just going to dump off to him every time. I could see them using him like that.
I like it, dude. I like it. All right. Number 63, the Kansas City Chiefs, who in the first round, they got their Tyler Booker, their offensive guard. I still think they need some more offensive linemen, but they also need a defensive tackle and a tight end. And I'm going to have them taking Mason Taylor out of LSU.
I was just thinking of tight end.
Yep.
Out of LSU, Jason Taylor's son.
Damn. I wanted him for the Dolphins, man, for round 3. Come on.
Oh, please. We've got
all right, Mason Taylor.
No, we only have
63.
2 tight ends right now.
3. Signed a big guy that's mostly a blocker.
Oh, that's right. We have 3. You're right. Yeah. So we got the Eagles. What are their needs?
Yeah, it takes us to the Eagles, who in the first round at number 32, they picked up Malachi Starks, who rich get richer. And at number 64, they still need defensive tackle and linebacker.
Well,
best available is going to be Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame, Jalen Noel out of Ohio State, Ursery out of Minnesota. Who you going, buddy? There's a guy out of Texas that would fit well with that team.
What position?
Defensive tackle.
Broughton? Is that who you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about Alfred Collins.
Oh, Alfred Collins. They went
6'5",
defensive
332.
tackle, I want to say last time, right?
No, they went safety. You're talking about last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Malachi Starks in the first round.
Not Malachi. Well, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going with a guy that graded, overall really well for all 3 years. And I honestly think he's a run stuffer too. And that's something I think that Vic Fangio likes to work with. I'm going with CJ West.
CJ West out of Indiana. Out of Indiana. Nice, dude. They had an uptick here this year, so picking somebody from them the first 2 rounds wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, I kind of think they like.
Well, that completes. That go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I kind of think they like. I think Vic Fangio likes those kind of players. The fact that he can play in the cold weather, the Midwest type of weather and stuff, I think it, will be a good pickup.
I like it, dude. Well, that takes us to the end of our second round mock draft. Bullet Bob, what you think?
Oh, it's pretty good. I liked it. I just that one guy out of TCU that you had them picking. Somebody mentioned that yards after catch guy, a wide receiver running a 4.48 ain't fast to me.
Fair.
What happened to Ali? Muted himself. Something must have happened.
He muted and took his camera out. He must have been burping and taking a poop.
No, I was vomiting in my mouth with that take. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I'm messing around. I was dealing with my child. So essentially, I see what you're saying. Like, you think that 4.48 is not the fastest guy, but sometimes it's not about the speed that you have in a straight line. It's the shakiness and how fast you can move between the lines, right? Sometimes people create speed with their knowledge and awareness of what's going around them. So there's that also.
Well, yeah.
I think Savion Williams is a great pick, to be honest. I really would love to see him as a Dolphin. I think there's a chance they could get him in the third round. Personally, I think he can do some of the things we're asking our receivers to do, but I'm not going to lie. The Dolphins did pick up a wide receiver in free agency that I really liked, Westbrook and Nietzsche.
Oh, I love
hell of a blocker.
The
guy had 10 touchdowns last season.
9.
Yep.
And I think he's going to be something we've been missing for a while. But
he's considered a steal in free agency right now. A lot of stuff have him as an overlooked pickup. But I tell you what, though, Mr. Washington,
his breakout. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Mr. Washington for the Dolphins is going to have a big role next year.
I also want to see Taj Washington because he looked good in preseason and they shut him down. But I have a feeling they kind of knew they had too many receivers. So some of these players that they shut down early, especially when there's where did the injury come from? We didn't see any injury or anything. I honestly think the Dolphins shelf players because they know they have too many and it was cheaper to shelf him than it was to cut the other player in front of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes I think they do things like that. But one player I just want to say that I hope to God is on the Dolphins' radar outside of defensive tackle, because ultimately I think in the first round they might go defensive tackle.
Yeah.
At corner, I really like Darian Porter to the Dolphins. Darian Porter, I think, would be amazing next to Jalen Ramsey, right? He's a shutdown corner. We like those. We need. I think we don't have anybody. I don't think we signed another corner. We have to address corner in this draft.
Well,
it's a must.
Something that always makes your corners better, though, too, is a good pass rush, good defense line, good pass rush. Makes the cornerback's job easier when the quarterback can't stand there and look around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
We'll see what they do. I mean, they've got more picks than they've had in a long time.
Mm-hmm. The one pick this whole series with the first 2 rounds that I did like is Saints picking up Jackson Dart. I think that is a definite slot for him. I like the pick a lot. I wish Dolphins were ballsy enough to do it, but go ahead.
How about the fact that the Dolphins have met with the right-handed Tua, Quinn Ewers?
It's killing me, bro. I am sick and tired of this. Look, listen, I'm gonna tear your quarterback a new one, and he's a former Ohio State quarterback. First of all, just to point that out.
He ain't my quarterback no more. He's gone.
Quinn Ewers
can't move. He can't move.
Soft. He is so soft. Not only is he soft as a quarterback, he's soft-minded as a person, right? And I, not that I hate that about him or anything. I just want to be clear. I need somebody that is a gunslinger, right? I need somebody that he can give a hit as much as take a hit, and I don't see that in Quinn Ewers. He can make all the throws, when he's not facing an elite defense, But look what happened against Georgia, who's the hardest defense in college football, right? I'll admit that. Georgia beat you twice, right? And then in addition, on top of it, look what happened at Ohio State, right? He really didn't make that. I thought he would have like a much better game.
I don't move in the pocket. He can't move in the pocket. He has no pocket awareness at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that big old defense tackle for Florida could sneak up on him.
That was my cat meowing in the background. I was like, wow.
I got 3 of those. You want one?
No, I got too many. No, thank you. No, thank you. But no, ultimately, I don't like the pick at all. I kind of think it's a smokescreen, to be honest. I'm hoping that's all it is. Because to be honest, I would rather go get myself a Kyle McCord, a Jackson Dart, or even
go get the guy out of Oregon.
Yes, Tyler Shug I like a lot. And a Will Howard. I like those guys a lot better, which Will Howard did have a hell of a performance at his pro day, much better than what he threw at the combine. I know people hated what they saw, but you also have to understand it's not scripted. He has no chemistry with those wide receivers whatsoever. He didn't really get to show what he really can do. And I think he did that at the pro day, to be honest.
Yeah.
So and you know who was talking to him? I heard that Mike Tomlin was talking to him a lot. Just so you know that. That's
I just want to remind our viewers that on our very first film watching session on this show, I told people about Tyler Shug. Couldn't pronounce his name at the time. And people said I didn't know what I was talking about. And I bet you he's the 4th or 5th quarterback taken in this draft now. So just want to, brush my shoulder off a little bit.
I'm telling you, a lot of people talked about that man, especially at the Senior Bowl. He looked very, very good. And I didn't even know about him until you mentioned him. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But yeah, this was a fun show, guys. I appreciate Bob. You're definitely welcome anytime. I'm not gonna lie, we're thinking about having a debate show regarding each different conference. So I figured we'd invite you for the SEC show, so you can represent Florida the proper way.
Okay.
So definitely appreciate having you anytime here. And Mike, you got anything else?
Hook 'em Horns, national
Hook 'em
champions, 2026.
Okay, well,
what are you doing to that cat? Is its tail underneath your chair?
All right, so I'll explain. My cat is not fixed yet. She's her appointment is next week. And she, for whatever reason, is constantly in heat. And if you have a cat that's on heat, they sound like an ambulance backing up. That's what it sounds like. I'm like, are you backing up somewhere? And her lover, I'll call him her boyfriend, who's our other cat, because they had babies together. He's not fixed yet either, and we have him in isolation, so they're separated right now. He's getting fixed on the same day she is, so that's what's going on. She's upset with me because I don't let conjugal visits available with her boyfriend. So, yeah, that's basically where it's at.
That's the way we need to end the show. There's no more than
Meanwhile,
needs to be
my
said.
65-pound lap dog, who's half German Shepherd, half Rottweiler, or not Rottweiler, I'm sorry, half Doberman. He's sitting there looking at me like, what's going on with this cat? And I'm like, don't look at me, man. It's all the cat.
All right, with that being said, this is another episode of 1410U. We have concluded our inaugural 2-round mock draft. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you press like, subscribe. Make sure you turn on the notification bell. You got any ideas of what we need to talk about? You got any things you want to hear about? You got any ideas you want either Ali or I to talk about? You want to pick our brain? Just let us know in the comments. Appreciate you watching, guys.
And by the way, next week they'll talk about neutering animals.
Have a good night. I can't close anything.